Welcome to the URUR. My name's Jose, and today we have a very special episode. Anthony and I talk about the director's vision and what it takes for them to get their vision onto the screen. Without further ado, here we go. And it's funny because I'll talk to my brothers about certain movies, and I'll have some whacked out theories, and I'm like, oh, you know what this is? This is a representation of feminism, and it's crazy. Have you ever seen the movie The Other Sister?
Yeah. No, wait. I don't believe so. Never mind. I'm sorry.
Okay. That movie to me is about women's rights. And everything about that movie, I can sit here and point out different things about that movie. Like, my wife was watching it, and she just started watching it, and I got done recording something in the room, and I just came out to get a drink of water, and I started watching it for like 5 minutes, and all of a sudden, everything just bam, 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 bam came in, and I started thinking, I know exactly what this is. This is about, a woman who's stuck in, like, her parents represented the old conservative way of doing things.
Yeah.
And the mother was giving her motherly advice, but it was all conservative advice. And then this woman wanted to be liberated, really. But the way they did it is that this woman is kind of like a woman of special needs,
Yeah.
So everyone's hesitant to let her have her own apartment. They're hesitant to have her have a boyfriend, and it's crazy. Like, if you watch it, there's all these things that tell you about everything that women went through to get their rights, even down to the 19th Amendment. And the guy just happens to be part of the marching band that's like a Dixie type of jazz band they used to play back in those times. A lot of different things. And so I sit here and I tell these things to my brothers, and I told my wife. She's like, oh, yeah, that's great. But there's no, like, vindication. Like, I know I'm fucking right, Like, I know that there's directors out there that put this much work into it. Have you ever seen the movie The Thing?
Which version?
John Carpenter's.
I think I saw half of it, and I had to go do something.
Dude.
I gotta watch it, though. It was good.
Yeah, you have to watch that. Apparently, that movie, when he was about to make it, some production stuff happened, and he had to wait like a whole year or two or something like that. And what he did was pretty much went back to the script and just kept just adding stuff, like little hidden stuff throughout the whole movie. So, I see that movie like once a year, and I always catch something. Like, even down to like the coats, where they hang up the coats, and how they are arranged, because the shot is exactly the same every time he goes down that hallway. It's like those little things are, to me, so much fun to watch on films. I don't think a lot of people watch movies that way. Maybe it's not healthy to watch movies that way.
Yeah, maybe it's not, right? There is something to be said about going to a movie, sitting down, watching it, enjoying it, taking it for what it is, or not really reading into it very much, or not really trying to see things in what the writing says, or the cinematography says, or what the director's trying to say. But at the same time, it's impossible for me not to do that.
I know, right? You get bored.
I think if I watch a movie for the first time, I'm very much taking it in, like, step by step, as the director wants me to.
Yeah.
There are times, like, I'll catch things, small things, every time. It's like not a doubt that it'll happen. But when I watch it a second time or a third time, that's when I really start to
pick things out,
pay attention to everything.
Yeah.
And really try to give the director or whoever, the writers and the actors, my undivided attention, all of the time that I could possibly
Yeah.
give, like all of my effort to really appreciate, their vision and what they were trying to do. And like whenever there's silence and people are just making, acting through, emotion and stuff like that, kind of really appreciating that, because I think it would that's what ultimately they're doing it for, right? Is because they want to put you in this position to where for an hour and a half or for 2 hours or whatever, you're seeing what they want you to see, and you're hearing what they want you to hear. You're totally invested into what they want you to experience. And I think directors most of the time, or even for me, and I'm sure it's happened to you, where you create something or you do something and like, I'm the only one that's going to see this. But when somebody else does, and when somebody else points it out, that's probably one of the best,
Oh,
like,
best feelings ever.
yeah, best and rewarding feelings, because somebody out there is going to pay attention, and it keeps you wanting to do that, and it keeps you on your toes. And
You're connecting.
yeah, you wanting to keep on doing what you're doing. And I think that's why tons of directors, even independent directors, are doing the same thing over and over again. Wes Anderson is very meticulous all the time, every time. Doesn't matter what it is, you're seeing exactly what he wants you to see. The
Yeah.
actors are doing exactly what he wants them to do, and there's something to be said about that. And he pays attention to the details, so why shouldn't I?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, there's definitely different ways to tell a story. Just depends on what exactly they want you to.
Yeah, or what they're trying to do, or sometimes they just want to make something that's enjoyable to watch and shouldn't be picked apart because there's nothing to see
Yeah.
beyond.
Popcorn movies,
Yeah,
which is
and
perfectly fine.
yeah,
Exactly. If not, we could always go read a book and direct a movie in our head
yeah.
if we want to, which I enjoy doing all the time. You ever read a book and you're thinking, oh, who would I cast for this person? And then I'll read a whole story and I've cast the whole thing with 3 different actors, and by the end of it, I know exactly who to do it with, and I'll go back and reread it.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
Yeah, it's awesome, man.
Yeah, man, there's so many times where I'll be at work, or in my driving or anything like that, and something will be happening either to me personally, or I'll be thinking of random situations, and I'll be like, I wish I had money or backing, and I could make whatever this is into a movie. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I
yeah.
could I could have this very real moment come to life,
Oh man.
and I have it in my head of like where the camera would be,
Yeah,
like the angles, if there would be a jib shot, or like how cool it would be if while I'm driving this was going on. Like
yeah,
it's insane. Like, but that's it depends on how your brain thinks,
yeah.
and it's exhausting at times
Oh yeah.
to be that way. It's not easy to like see it, like go through everything and wish that you could make it into like a 10-minute short film or something like that, or it is your life really that interesting? I don't know.
No, no, not mine. I'll
Yeah.
tell you that. No, if it was that interesting, then wouldn't be at this apartment right now.
You see, it's funny because I think it's subjective, because like there'd be times where I'm literally just sitting doing nothing. You know what I mean? And I'll have this idea that like, man, what a good like independent movie this would be, of just this struggle. You know what I mean? Of just this
Yeah,
like this idea of just a normal regular person. Like
yeah.
there's nothing crazy going on. You're just following this person through their life, and I think that's interesting. And I love seeing movies that are like that.
I
I
do
love
too.
seeing movies that are character pieces, and the
Yeah.
narrative isn't crazy interesting. It's like Chef. Like that's
Oh yeah,
there's nothing super interesting going on. It's just him and his struggle, and I think that's something. There's something to be said about the simplicity of that.
yeah. That's a good point. Which is funny because you have that notion that it's something very simple, but in the end of it, people can connect with it even more, and they can see it for something even bigger than it is. You know, it can become this guy who's having just this just horrible just day. Well, it seems horrible to him, but maybe it's just like a regular day, and he's just like just having one of those days. You know, he wakes up and just having crappy day. He goes to the bank and he just gets screwed over or something, and all of a sudden people are dissecting and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is about capitalism or something," you
Yeah, right. It's like
know?
people do what they want
Yeah.
with stories, and it's funny because I was we had talked about Ben Affleck or whatever, and
Oh
as
yeah.
Batman and stuff like that. And so I rewatched.
The
Uh,
trailer?
no, I rewatched
Oh.
Good Will Hunting last
Oh,
night.
dude, really?
Yes, it is. Oh man, it's so good.
It is
It's
good.
crazy good, right?
Yeah, it's really good.
And I, there's this whole thing about Matt Damon's character and all of these things. But what I was so encapsulated by, what I was so interested in, is was the rapport that the friends had, like with each
Oh
other,
yeah.
whenever they're hanging out in the bar, and
That's
the
probably the coolest
Boston.
part of the
Yeah,
the
the
scene.
Boston accent, the way that they talk to each
Yeah.
other, how they kind of just when he gets out of the car and he's like, "If you're not out there in 2 fucking seconds, I'm gonna be on you when I'm done with them," kind of thing. Like just stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like seeing that, I was so jealous that like I wasn't a part of that group. Like I wanted to
Yeah.
be in that group. I wanted to be a part of it, and the movie's great, and the message that it's sending is great, and the whole thing I had to see about a girl that's fucking amazing,
Yeah.
but the thing that caught me and I could watch a whole movie about is just him and those friends going out to a bar
Just
every
hanging out.
night,
Yeah.
just hanging out. I could watch a whole movie about that.
Yeah.
And so I think that's kind of people's lives are interesting and different upbringings or different point of views on stuff is just interesting in its own right. And I don't think you need a story around it. I think just following somebody. That's why documentaries are so cool when it's
Oh
just
yeah.
following one person or
Oh yeah.
asking an artist, how did you get to doing this, or following them on their daily lives and seeing how interesting they are, and kind of either being jealous or glad that you're not a part of it.
Okay. So after that, I went ahead and gave him this long drawn out story about me and a couple friends going out to a metal show. I'll go ahead and save that for another podcast. Just to stay on the same topic, here we are talking about Wes Anderson and a little bit more about writing and directing. What he always does. That's the cool thing about him is we understand his style, but at the same time, we don't really know where he's going. You know, we don't
Yeah, I
know.
mean,
It's great. It's refreshing every time
he has
we
a
watch
style
something.
that I love and that I know is going to wow me every time.
Yeah.
And I think everything that he's done has been drastically different,
Oh
right?
yeah.
It's drastically different,
He
but
even
it's
said
all.
so. He thinks
Yeah,
everything
but
he writes is different.
yeah, I mean, like we have something about a hotel, something about like aquatic life, something about just the two kids running away together. Like it's just
Yeah.
everything is different, but everything has a like an outrageous comedic thing going on, but it's grounded
Yeah.
in that these people are who they are, and it's so crazy how you seriously feel like you're living in a world with these people. Like this place actually exists because of how many like small, minute details are in there, and like everything from all of the newspaper clippings to
Yeah.
the like even in the Grand Budapest, like all of the hotel, little minor things,
Yeah.
and it's insane the type of he puts you in a world and you feel like it actually exists. Like this is not fake. Like this actually happened, or this is something that is going on currently. It's crazy.
I could try to uh, be that detailed, but it just it would be impossible for me. I don't know if it comes natural to him, but it's incredibly hard. Have you read some of his scripts?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Like you read it and it's exactly like the freaking movie.
Yeah, that's
That's
just
just far out.
it's amazing. Yeah.
It's far
I
out.
think when I whenever I write like a short story or something along the lines of that, I try to be like as like for the first draft or whatever, like just kind of get it all out.
Yeah.
And then the second one is more of like, okay,
The
like
rewriting, the
you rewrite it
reworking.
and you say, like, okay, well, this person is this way, but how else can I say this
Yeah.
by things that aren't said? Or what
Yes.
in the background can tell you this
Uh huh.
about this person? And
Yeah, I do the same thing.
I think you keep going down that road and you just keep layering it and layering it and layering it, and then you just get deeper. Like, okay, what does this say about this person?
Yeah.
What does this object say about the room? What does the room say about the place? What does the place say about the city? What does the city say? You know what I mean? You kind of just
Yeah.
keep on going and going and going, and then all of a sudden you have this entire like set that is built just for this apartment room, or just for this house, or
Mm-hmm.
for this building, and you kind of I think going in that way of just kind of peeling it back one layer at a time, one layer at a time, and then it makes it easier for you to figure out, okay, well, who would this character be living in this world that I've spent all this time to create? I think that's when it becomes easier to kind of get the characters who they need to be, and it's hard to write. I mean, every time I do something like that, it's like it's you have to like really organize
Yeah.
your thoughts to kind of keep everything like coherent in your head and coherent on paper. It's tough. It's really tough.
Yeah, I write outlines sometimes. I've written outlines for this is gonna sound really freaking nerdy, dude. I've written outlines for these 3 different books that I want to write that I don't feel like I'm ready to write, which is stupid because I could write the first draft and then go back and rewrite and everything. So, this is the part of the podcast where Anthony talks a bit more about writing and gives you some great tips if you're just beginning or if you're having just issues with writing in general.
Like, not can't be written as in like is impossible to be written, but something that just can't be written, has to be seen, can't be said, right? And so those are things that you write down a description of what you think the room should look like, or what you
Oh,
think
yeah.
should be in the like what the air would smell like, or how you want the actor to react when he walks in the room or something. You know what I mean? Like those things you can write down in a little description, but like the
Mm-hmm.
whole set of the room, you can't write all of that in the script. You just write a description, and you
Yeah.
remember when you get to the set. Like hopefully, if you're the director, or hopefully if you have enough say in it, then you say, okay, well over here, this is where I wanted the bookshelf to be, and I wanted all these papers to be over here, and I wanted there to be a stack of files over here. You know what I mean? Like that's when you kind of get into that. And so I don't think you should concern yourself with the nitty gritty, because those are something that you just can't write down. You know, it comes from your brain and it's always going to be there. And I think what you focus on is, how do I make the characters believable? How do
Mm-hmm.
I make them genuine and fit with the world around them? I think when you treat it more like it actually exists and it's not just a movie, then I
Yeah.
think that's when it's the most organic and it just kind of flows out. So yeah, whenever I approach a character or a sequence or an event or whatever, I try to write it down, not in a way that would make an easy wow or an easy audience attention grabber, but how I think this person would genuinely handle it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or how I would handle it or anything like that, because it's easy when you're writing something to go for those wow moments. If you watch The Life Aquatic or anything like that, any of those movies, there's easy shots that are funny, but they fit with the characters. They're things that are just either you're gonna laugh at or you're gonna be like, that was just really weird, because that's who those characters are. Like when
Yeah.
Bill Murray says, I'm not gonna give you all failing grades. I'm just reading incompletes. You know what I mean? Or whenever the guy's like, so what are the dolphins saying? He's like, uh, either they don't understand us or,
They
they
can't hear us.
yeah, they can't hear us. It's just those things that are like, they're so hilarious, but you believe that those people would say that because
Of
of the
course.
world around them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Of what they're doing. It's crazy. Like, and then you have movies like 22 Jump Street, where
Yeah.
it's not believable that these people would be saying that because that's them. It's believable they're saying that because they're written in there.
Yeah.
They're written for a laugh. They're written because that's what it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like when somebody says like super like they're just like witty jokes that you wouldn't just get off the cuff. You know, you can tell that they were written for a laugh.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference. Is there's a difference between reading something and knowing that it was written for a laugh, and reading something and knowing that the character would say this and it's just going to elicit a laugh because of how ridiculous or how funny it is because they're saying it. And it's hard to keep that in mind when you're writing something and you want it to be entertaining.
You want it to be true and entertaining.
Yeah.
That's a good point. My mind just got blown.
Dropping gems.
Every day, every night.
All day, every day.
Every day.
Only because it's fucking coffee, man.
Is that what it is? And Taco Bell.
So, yeah.
And Greek yogurt.
I don't know, sometimes, I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe it's just trying to think of ways to not take credit for anything because I'm modest.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
No.
All right. Well, with that said, if anybody out there is an aspiring writer,
I forgot this was all recording.
Yeah, it's great. See, that's where we want to get to. We want to touch the sky, just like Kanye West said. That's what we want to do. So, I think we've achieved it tonight, and I can cut it into little pieces and be like, and now, some inspirational quotes from Anthony, and then just go crazy.
What a fucking pretentious dick.
And now the pretentious dick talks about how you should write.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say that. I'm not this like crazy phenomenal writer.
So this is a
like,
workshop
everything
episode.
that I talk about is great, but that doesn't mean that I can execute on it. Okay, so
hey, maybe, I don't know.
Just getting that out there.
I'll save it and be like, here's some tips from the great screenwriter, director, cinematographer, editor, to do it all.
He only does everything. You're just it's an announcer.
Exactly.
Announcer voice.
He does everything.
No, I would never ever take any of those titles. Fuck.
No?
That would be that's too much.
Too much?
Couldn't do it.
You sure?
Yeah, I think my entire life will be mediocre at best. And that's it. Yeah.
Hey, I guess if you already know, I thought you were giving me this big inspirational speech about this guy you befriended in the nursing home, and now you're just like, I think I'm just gonna be mediocre at best.
Nah, I mean, like, you know,
I know what I am.
If people think that I'm great, then I'll always be baffled because, like, as I think anybody that's ever doing anything that's like deemed creative or anything like that is never going to be happy with it and is always going to think like, I'm not that great or am I that good or blah, blah, blah. So to me, I'll just see everything. I'll see all the flaws in it, right? But it's funny because you see all the flaws in your own work, but when you look at other people's work, you're like, man, that's perfect.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But I imagine what Wes Anderson thinks about his own shit or what David Fincher thinks about his own shit or what Spielberg thinks about Schindler's List. You know?
That was a good movie.
So it naturally happens.
No. But unless, again, if you're Kanye West.
Yeah, everything you do is fucking magic.
It's fucking magic. He's like what did he say last time? He's like the greatest rock star in the world.
Yeah, even he's so much of a rock star that he's fine with walking around and having a wife that made a book of selfies.
Well, that's our podcast. Thank you for listening. This is the URUR. Like us on Facebook.com/UR_review. As always, comment, rate, subscribe. Tell us what you think. We hope to have more of these podcasts where we talk about our favorite directors and we talk more about writing. Thanks again for listening. forget to thumbs up.